Welcome to the History AI podcast, where the past comes alive with facts, anecdotes, and a dash of humor. Here are your hosts, Chuck and Marco.
Welcome back to the History AI podcast, where we dive deep into the events that shaped our world. I'm Chuck, and with me as always is my co-host Marco. How's it going, Marco?
It's going great, Chuck. Excited for today's episode. We're talking about a pivotal moment in history, the invasion of Tsushima. A tale of conflict, strategy, and resilience.
That's right. Before we get into the thick of it, a quick reminder to our listeners, please rate, subscribe, and share our podcast. Your 5-star reviews help us reach more people and continue to grow. And hey, don't forget to check out our new merchandise. Link is in the show notes. And as a thank you to our listeners, we're offering a 10% discount on your first purchase. Just use the code TheHistoryAI Podcast, all one word, at checkout.
And if you have any topics you're burning to hear about, drop us a suggestion on social media. Now, let's set the scene for the invasion of Tsushima.
Picture the world in the late 13th century, a mosaic of empires, kingdoms, and fiefdoms, each with their own stories, ambitions, and conflicts. In this era of knights, samurai, and emperors, one empire stood above all in terms of sheer size and ambition, the Mongol Empire, under the leadership of Kublai Khan.
Exactly, Chuck. At this time, the Mongol Empire was unmatched in power and scope, having conquered vast stretches of Asia and Eastern Europe. But Kublai Khan, the grandson of Genghis Khan, wasn't satisfied. He set his sights further east, towards Japan, a nation composed of islands that had so far resisted foreign domination.
And Tsushima, a small but strategically vital island nestled between the Korean peninsula and the Japanese mainland, became the linchpin in Kublai Khan's ambitious plans. This island was not just a piece of land to be conquered, it was the gateway to Japan, a symbol of the Mongol Empire's attempt to extend its reach across the seas.
The island itself was beautiful, rugged, and home to a fiercely independent people. Its strategic importance was well understood by both the Japanese and the Mongols. For the Japanese, it was the first line of defense, a watchful guardian against invasions from the Korean peninsula. For the Mongols, it represented the first step in a larger campaign to bring Japan into their empire, a testament to their naval ambitions and their desire to control the trade and military routes across the East China Sea.
As the Mongol Empire prepared its vast fleet and gathered its forces, including soldiers from its vassal states like Korea and China, the people of Tsushima, led by their samurai protectors, prepared to face a threat the likes of which they had never seen before. The stage was set for a confrontation that would echo through history, a clash of cultures, strategies, and wills on the windswept shores and rolling hills of Tsushima.
This wasn't just a battle for control of a small island. It was a moment that would define the future of Japan and test the limits of the Mongol Empire's reach. The invasion of Tsushima was about to begin, and with it, a story of courage, tragedy, and the indomitable human spirit.
The Mongol Empire's ambition to conquer Japan didn't arise in a vacuum. It was the culmination of years of expansion and the desire to assert dominance over all of Asia. Kublai Khan, having consolidated his power in China and established the Yuan dynasty, sought to extend his influence further. Japan, with its rich culture and resources, was a prized target. But before the Mongols could set their sights on the Japanese mainland, they needed a foothold. Tsushima, lying midway between Korea and Japan, was the perfect strategic stepping stone for their naval expedition.
Indeed, Chuck. The choice of Tsushima was strategic, but it also sent a clear message. The Mongol Empire was capable of projecting its power across the sea. The island was not just geographically important, it was symbolically significant. For the Japanese, Tsushima was a barrier, protecting them from the tumultuous mainland conflicts. Its samurai were not just defenders of their land, but guardians of the gateway to Japan.
On the other side, the Japanese were not ignorant of the Mongol threats. Intelligence about the Mongol conquests and their brutal efficiency in warfare had reached Japan. The Japanese understood that the Mongols, with their vast army and innovative siege tactics, presented a new kind of challenge. The defenders of Tsushima, though experienced warriors in their own right, were about to face an enemy unlike any they had encountered before.
Preparations began on both sides. The Mongols assembled a massive invasion force, comprising not just Mongol soldiers but also Chinese and Korean engineers, sailors, and troops, a reflection of the empire's vast resources and ability to mobilize forces from its conquered territories. This diverse army was equipped with siege weapons, horses, and supply chains designed to support a long campaign.
Meanwhile, on Tsushima, the samurai began to prepare for the impending invasion. They fortified their positions and rallied the local populace. The leadership under the samurai lord So Sukakuni was crucial. He knew that the odds were against them, but the spirit of Bushido, the way of the warrior, drove them to vow to protect their land at any cost. They trained, prayed, and waited, knowing that the survival of their island, and potentially that of Japan itself, depended on their resilience and courage.
As the Mongol fleet set sail towards Tsushima, the tension on the island was palpable. The people of Tsushima were about to find themselves at the forefront of a clash between two empires. The lead up to the battle was not just a military mobilization but a moment of profound uncertainty and determination, setting the stage for a confrontation that would be remembered for centuries to come.
In the autumn of 1274, the Mongol Empire launched one of the most formidable invasion fleets of the medieval world. Comprising hundreds of ships, this armada carried a diverse and formidable force estimated to be in the tens of thousands. These were not just Mongol warriors but also Chinese infantry, Korean soldiers, and even conscripts from the newly subjugated regions, all united under Kublai Khan's command. The logistical feat of assembling this fleet highlighted the Mongols' mastery over the territories they controlled and their ambition to extend their dominion across the seas to Japan.
The Mongol fleet, with its sheer size and composition, was a terrifying sight. As they set sail from the Korean peninsula, the Mongols were confident, their ships laden with not just soldiers but also horses, siege engines, and supplies. It was a clear demonstration of their intention to not just raid but to conquer and hold. The crossing was swift, aided by favorable winds, a testament to the Mongols' meticulous planning and the skill of their Korean and Chinese navigators.
Tsushima, with its rugged terrain and formidable samurai defenders, awaited the onslaught. The island's defenders, led by the samurai So Sukakuni, had prepared as best as they could, but nothing could fully prepare them for the scale of the invasion. As the Mongol fleet approached, the sight of the vast armada on the horizon must have been both awe-inspiring and terrifying for the inhabitants of Tsushima.
The Mongols landed with overwhelming force. Their initial targets were the coastal villages and the small fortifications scattered around the island. The defenders of Tsushima fought with bravery and determination, employing hit-and-run tactics, and making strategic use of the island's terrain to slow the Mongol advance. However, the Mongol army's sheer size, combined with their use of coordinated attacks and siege technology, quickly overwhelmed the local resistance.
The invasion was brutal and swift. Villages were sacked, and the local population faced the full might of the Mongol war machine. The samurai defenders, though vastly outnumbered, fought valiantly, embodying the Bushido spirit to the very end. But the Mongols, with their disciplined ranks, superior numbers, and tactical ingenuity, were an unstoppable force. Tsushima's defenders made them pay dearly for every inch of ground, but the island's strategic positions fell one by one.
Amid the chaos, stories of heroism emerged. The defenders, knowing the importance of their stand, fought not just for Tsushima but for the signal it would send to the mainland of Japan. Each skirmish, each stand by the samurai, was a testament to their courage and determination in the face of overwhelming odds.
As the Mongols secured their foothold on Tsushima, the scale of their ambition became clear. This was no mere raid, it was the first step in a larger campaign to subjugate Japan. The fall of Tsushima opened a direct path to the Japanese mainland, setting the stage for the next phase of the Mongol invasion. But the resistance on Tsushima, though ultimately overcome, had shown that the Mongol advance would not be unchallenged. Amidst the dark clouds of invasion and warfare, the resilience and bravery of Tsushima's defenders shone like rays of light. One of the most poignant tales to emerge from this grim episode was that of the samurai, who, despite being vastly outnumbered, embodied the very essence of courage and sacrifice. Among these stories, the saga of So Sukakuni and his band of samurai stands tall. As the Mongol forces began their relentless assault on the island, Sukakuni rallied his warriors, knowing full well that theirs was a fight not just for Tsushima but for the honor and future of Japan.
The samurai of Tsushima, though facing a formidable enemy, were strategic in their resistance. They engaged in guerrilla warfare, utilizing the dense forests and rugged terrain of their homeland to their advantage. Night raids became a frequent tactic, with the samurai striking at Mongol camps under the cover of darkness, sowing confusion and fear among the invaders. These raids, though small in scale, were significant in their impact, demonstrating the indomitable spirit of Tsushima's defenders.
One particularly heroic story that has been passed down through generations involves a small group of samurai who, under the cover of night, infiltrated the main Mongol encampment. Armed with nothing but their swords and their resolve, they aimed to assassinate the Mongol commanders, hoping to disrupt the invaders' chain of command and morale. Though they were eventually overwhelmed, their bravery struck a symbolic blow against the Mongols and inspired their fellow samurai to continue the fight with renewed vigor.
Another tale tells of the heroic stand at Aso Bay, where a handful of samurai, led by a veteran warrior, faced off against a much larger Mongol force. With the sea to their backs and their swords in hand, they fought valiantly, embodying the Bushido code to their last breath. This last stand became a testament to the courage of Tsushima's defenders, a story of valor that transcended the tragedy of the battle itself.
The resistance on Tsushima also saw moments of unexpected humanity amid the brutality of war. There are accounts of samurai warriors who, despite the fierce enmity, showed mercy to their enemies, offering water to the wounded or ensuring that the fallen were given a proper send-off. These acts of compassion amidst the carnage served as reminders of the complex human emotions that play out even in the direst of circumstances.
The heroism of Tsushima's defenders did not go unnoticed. Stories of their bravery and sacrifice spread to the mainland, galvanizing the Japanese people and their samurai warriors, preparing them for the continued defense of their homeland. The resistance on Tsushima, though ultimately overcome, laid the foundation for the spirited defense that would later characterize the Mongol invasions of Japan.
In the face of overwhelming adversity, the defenders of Tsushima displayed a resilience and bravery that would be remembered for centuries. Their actions during the invasion served not just as a military resistance, but as a profound statement of the human spirit's capacity for courage and sacrifice. In the wake of the Mongol invasion, Tsushima lay in ruins. The once vibrant island, known for its rugged beauty and the indomitable spirit of its inhabitants, was now a somber testament to the devastation of war. Villages that had stood for centuries were reduced to ashes, and the island's lush landscapes were marred by the scars of battle. The cost of the invasion was not just in material or territorial losses but in the profound impact on the island's population. Many of the island's defenders, including the valiant Sosukakuni and his samurai, lay fallen, their sacrifice a stark reminder of the invasion's brutality.
The aftermath of the invasion saw a Tsushima that was fundamentally changed. The social and economic fabric of the island had been disrupted, with many families having lost their protectors and providers. The survivors faced the daunting task of rebuilding their lives amidst the ruins of their homeland. Yet, in the face of such adversity, the resilience of the Tsushima people began to shine through. Communities came together to rebuild their homes and lives, drawing strength from the memories of those who had fought so bravely to defend their island.
The Mongol invasion also left a lasting impact on the strategic thinking in Japan. The ferocity and scale of the attack were a wake-up call to the Japanese leadership. In its aftermath, there was a concerted effort to strengthen coastal defenses and prepare for the possibility of future invasions. Fortresses were erected, and samurai were trained with the knowledge that the Mongol threat loomed large over the horizon. Tsushima, in particular, became a symbol of vigilance, its people ever watchful for signs of another invasion.
On the broader stage of history, the invasion of Tsushima served as a prelude to the larger Mongol attempts to conquer Japan, including the famous battles at Hakata Bay. The resistance offered by the people of Tsushima provided invaluable lessons in the tactics and technologies employed by the Mongol forces, information that would prove crucial in the subsequent defenses against Mongol invasions.
The legacy of the invasion, however, was not solely one of loss and preparation for war. It also became a part of the cultural and historical identity of Japan. The bravery of Tsushima's defenders was immortalized in stories, plays, and songs, serving as enduring symbols of courage and sacrifice. This collective memory played a key role in shaping the Japanese ethos, emphasizing the values of resilience, honor, and the importance of defending one's homeland.
The invasion of Tsushima had a significant impact on the Mongol Empire itself. The campaign, while initially successful, ultimately highlighted the limitations of Mongol power when extended over the seas. The resources and lives expended in the invasion of Tsushima, and the subsequent campaigns against Japan, strained the Mongol Empire's vast but overextended resources. These attempts to subjugate Japan would eventually be seen as one of the few blemishes on the Mongol Empire's record of conquests, serving as a reminder of the limits of imperial ambition.
The aftermath of the invasion of Tsushima was a period of recovery, reflection, and preparation. It was a time marked by both the sorrow of loss and the determination to rebuild and defend. The events on this small island between Korea and Japan would leave a lasting legacy, shaping the course of Japanese history and the narrative of resilience and defiance in the face of overwhelming odds. The Mongol invasion of Tsushima was a devastating event, with casualties that extended far beyond the battlefield. The human cost was immense, with a significant portion of Tsushima's population either killed in the fighting or dying from the aftermath of violence, disease, and famine. The defenders of Tsushima, including the noble Sosukakuni and his samurai, paid a heavy price, with many losing their lives in a valiant effort to repel the invaders. The loss of life among the Mongol forces was also substantial, as they faced fierce resistance from the island's defenders and were exposed to the harsh and unfamiliar conditions of Tsushima.
Beyond the immediate toll, the invasion left deep scars on Tsushima's societal fabric. The survivors were left to rebuild their lives amidst the ruins of their homes and communities. The trauma of the invasion, the loss of loved ones, and the destruction of their way of life had a lasting psychological impact on the island's inhabitants. The cultural and social landscape of Tsushima was forever altered, with the invasion shaping the collective memory and identity of its people for generations to come.
The lasting impact of the Mongol invasion on Japan was profound. It served as a catalyst for widespread military and societal changes. The threat of Mongol invasion led to the strengthening of Japan's coastal defenses and the development of more sophisticated military tactics and strategies. The samurai class saw a resurgence in importance, with their role in defending the nation underscored by the heroism displayed during the invasion. This period also marked the beginning of a more centralized form of governance, as the need for a unified response to external threats became evident.
Culturally, the invasion had a significant impact on Japanese literature, art, and philosophy. The tales of heroism and sacrifice during the invasion became part of Japan's cultural heritage, celebrated in plays, poetry, and other forms of artistic expression. These narratives reinforced values such as loyalty, honor, and perseverance, which became central to the samurai ethos and Japanese identity. The invasion also served as a lesson in the importance of vigilance and preparedness, themes that resonated in Japanese policy and mindset long after the Mongol threat had receded.
Internationally, the failed Mongol invasions of Japan, starting with the initial assault on Tsushima, marked a turning point in the Mongol Empire's expansion. These failures highlighted the logistical and strategic challenges of overseas campaigns, contributing to the limits of Mongol expansion. For Japan, the successful defense against the Mongol invasions bolstered its national pride and sense of invincibility, influencing its foreign relations and military posture for centuries.
The casualties and lasting impact of the Mongol invasion of Tsushima are reminders of the resilience of human societies in the face of adversity. The invasion reshaped the course of Japanese history, influencing its military, cultural, and social development. It also served as a testament to the limits of empire and the enduring spirit of those who defend their homeland against overwhelming odds. The legacy of Tsushima is not just one of conflict and loss, but also of courage, resilience, and the indomitable will to rebuild and forge ahead in the aftermath of devastation.
The Mongol invasion of Tsushima was not merely a historical footnote, it was a pivotal event that had profound implications for Japan, the Mongol Empire, and the course of East Asian history. The invasion underscored the strategic importance of Tsushima as a linchpin in the defense of Japan and highlighted the broader Mongol strategy of territorial expansion across Asia. For Japan, the invasion served as a stark reminder of the threats beyond its shores, catalyzing significant shifts in military, political, and social spheres.
Indeed, Chuck. The aftermath of the invasion saw Japan take decisive steps to bolster its coastal defenses, recognizing the necessity of being prepared for future threats. This led to the construction of stone walls and fortifications, especially around potential landing sites like Hakata Bay. The samurai class, already integral to Japan's feudal system, saw a reinvigoration of their martial values. The concept of Bushido, the way of the warrior, was underscored by the heroic, albeit tragic, resistance of Tsushima's defenders.
Moreover, the invasion had a unifying effect on the Japanese polity. The existential threat posed by the Mongols helped to somewhat bridge the factional divides that had plagued Japan during this period. The need for a coordinated defense against a common enemy fostered a sense of national identity and purpose, setting the stage for more unified resistance in the face of subsequent Mongol invasions.
On the Mongol side, the invasion demonstrated both the reach and the limitations of Mongol power. While the Mongols were unrivaled on the steppes of Asia and had achieved unprecedented success in their land campaigns, the invasion of Tsushima revealed the challenges of projecting power across the sea. The logistical complexities and the resilience of the Japanese defenders served as a sobering check to Mongol ambitions, showcasing the difficulties of naval warfare and island invasion tactics.
The invasion also had significant cultural and psychological impacts. The stories of valor and sacrifice on Tsushima were woven into the fabric of Japanese culture, becoming part of the collective memory and identity. These narratives served as both a warning and an inspiration, a reminder of the courage needed to defend one's homeland against seemingly insurmountable odds. They influenced Japanese literature, art, and martial philosophy, reinforcing ideals of bravery, honor, and resilience.
In a broader sense, the invasion of Tsushima and the subsequent Mongol attempts to conquer Japan played a crucial role in shaping the geopolitical dynamics of East Asia. The Mongol failures to subjugate Japan halted their eastward expansion, marking the limits of their empire. This, in turn, allowed Japan to maintain its independence and develop along a unique path, free from Mongol influence, which would have profound implications for its cultural and political development.
The importance and impact of the Mongol invasion of Tsushima extend far beyond the immediate military and territorial concerns. It was a catalyst for change, driving innovations in military strategy, fortifications, and societal organization. It underscored the importance of readiness, resilience, and unity in the face of external threats, lessons that remain relevant centuries later. The invasion of Tsushima is a testament to the enduring human spirit, the strategic importance of geography, and the unpredictable course of history that shapes nations and cultures.
That wraps up our dive into the invasion of Tsushima. A story of conflict, courage, and the indomitable human spirit.
We hope you found it as fascinating as we did. A huge thank you to all our listeners for tuning in. Remember to rate, subscribe, and share to help us grow. And check out our merchandise.
Got a topic you want us to cover? Let us know on social media. We love hearing from you.
Until next time, keep exploring history. Step into the thrilling world of sports betting with The Starting Line, an introduction to sports betting. Whether you're a beginner or simply curious, this comprehensive guide takes you from the basics to the advanced. Learn to decode odds, develop winning strategies, and bet responsibly. Get your copy now and transform every game into an adventure. The Starting Line is your first step towards mastering the art of sports betting. Available on Amazon.